Hi guys! Today I'm going to be reviewing some brushes that I bought. I've tested them for about 2 weeks now, trying to do different things with them depending on its purpose. And I want to go over each of them with you and kind of let you know my thoughts. All of the brushes are from Smashbox and they come in little containers like this with cute sayings like this is the blush one and it says get flushed, and kind of gives you tips on how to use each brush. So I will be going over each of them and what they are supposed to be used for. Since I have this box already, I will go over the blush one. They have a couple different blush brushes. This is the Precise blush and it says it on the handle. It has really nice grooves right here and then right here. It's kind of hard to see, but you see how it's kind of slanted in. It's really nice for when you're trying to have precise application and say you don't want a lot, so you do the grips on the end, or if you want more color, you would do the ones right here. This one, like it says, is precise, so this would be more for the apples of your cheeks. You could always bring it up more. I kind of switch between doing it on the apples of my cheeks and bringing it up, or just doing it on the apples of my cheeks. But it is really good. I haven't had any problems whatsoever. Depending on the blush you use, you may want to go with a light hand, and that's where this kind of comes in handy, having the grip right there, because it will pack on the blush very easily. This brush right here goes for $34. Their other brush is an angled blush brush, so if you want to have a blush brush that's easier to go up in this area, you may want to get that one instead of this one. That one is $32. They also have a buildable cheek brush, and that one is $36. So that one would be better if you really didn't want to go in and, oh, there's way too much blush, now I have to go in with some powder and try and tone it down. That way, as it says, it's a buildable brush. They have a lot of different variations of each type of brush depending on the person's wants and needs. I thought that the Precise would be the best for me. I have an e.l.f. blush brush that's more of a dome shape, so that one works just fine and I can use that one, where this one is different, and if I want to switch it up, I can with this. This brush, as well as all of the rest of the brushes, are cruelty-free and they are made of synthetic fibers. Personally, I was in between getting the Smith natural hair brushes and these brushes that were synthetic. I kind of went over the pros and cons of the makeup application and my own kind of thoughts on animal hair brushes, and honestly, even though Smith brushes are supposed to be really good, I couldn't bring myself to really purchase them. I probably won't purchase them just because it is animal hair, and I'm not completely cruelty-free. I try to be the best that I can, but because these had a lot of good things said about them and they were synthetic, I ended up going with these instead. So back to this blush brush. It says you can pair it with powder cheek products. It has high-tech synthetic fibers for durability and control. So like I said, they're synthetic brushes. Easily builds and layers product. Now with this one in particular, yes, it does build, but again, because it's precise, I would go in with a light hand because it will pack it on easier than, say, the buildable one that they sell. All of these brushes that I'm talking about today, I have used on my look, as well as, like I said, used them for the past 2 weeks, trying to do different things with them and see how they work out. The next brush is the full coverage eyeshadow brush, and it looks like that with more of a rounded tip. Today I use this to actually put concealer on my eyes to do a kind of half cut crease type deal. This brush goes for $24, and on the box it says get loaded, and the specifics on the box say pair with powder eyeshadows, especially high sparkle and shimmer shades. Although it does work well, I'm not a huge fan of putting on my shimmer shades with a brush. I might do it to begin with, but then go in with my finger because I like the way that my finger applies it better. It's just more intense. It also says it's high-tech synthetic and it delivers the most intense product payoff. In using other brushes that are like this brush, I do feel like it does pack on the shadow really well, but again, I don't think it is as good as using your finger, but it is really good, especially like I said, for doing cut creases or half cut creases. I just think that it's really nice to get in there because it has that rounded edge and it works really well for that. This next brush, I only used it today because I didn't really have a purpose for it. I didn't think it was going to be as big as it was, but we will talk about it anyway. So to me online, this one looks a lot smaller. It looks more formed like this, pinched together, but it is like this. So rounded again, kind of to a point. It is the all over shadow brush. And today I took it and put some translucent powder over my eyes to set the concealer base on my eyes. This one retails for $26 and it says to pair with powder eyeshadows, again synthetic, essential brush sweeps, shadow all over the lid. So you could use this for matte shades and stuff if you're going to just use one shade all over the eye. And it says foolproof application from beginners to pros. Again, it's kind of big in my opinion to do much with it other than setting my eye and getting it prepped to put other shadow on. But if you really think this would be a good addition to your set, they do have this all over shadow brush. And on that box it says throw on the shade. So that's kind of cute. Next brush is the Smoky shadow brush, and it has a nice fine tip to it to really smoke out that lower lash line nicely. This one retails for $22, and on the box it says smoke it out. Very fitting. It says pair with cream or powder eyeshadow and creamy eyeliners. So I did not use it with cream eyeliner just because I don't use cream eyeliner, but it does work very nicely for putting on powder shadows and smoking them out on the lower lash line, like I said. I didn't use this today to pack on the color, but sometimes it's nice to pack on the color in the corner with this brush as well. Synthetic, perfect size and shape for smudging smoky shadows and liner. So like I said, really nice to smoke out your lower lash line, or even on your lid to smoke out any eyeshadow or, like they said, cream liner. The next brush says look more blurred. It is the angled powder brush, which looks like this. Kind of an interesting shape. I've never really had a brush like this. And on the box it says pair with face powders, synthetic again. Best for precise application of powder. Helps prevent powder from settling into lines. I have used this a couple different ways. I've used it with the Tarte Park Ave Princess Chisel Palette to take that pink shade and highlight under my eyes. That worked very nicely. I've mainly used it to do my contour. It just hugs very nicely in the cheek area, and once I take my translucent powder and cut my cheek, I can also blend it out with this, and it works very nicely for that. So it has a couple different things you can do with it. Setting under the eye and working out your contour. It also has the nice grooves in it to hold on to get a precise application, as well as the ones on the end if you want to control and have less product put on your face. This one retails for $34. I really like this one. The next one is a shadow blending brush. This one retails for $24. It is a bigger blending brush to do most of the base type blending into the crease. On the box it says blend like a boss, pair with powder eyeshadow. This one says that it's high-tech synthetic, but it also says that it retains shape and bounce back after washing. I used my Cinema Secrets makeup cleaner, so kind of like washing, and it held up very nicely so far. I've done that twice now. It's held up pretty well. It says it blends and applies sheer coverage. I would agree with that overall. It does blend very nicely. Great for transition shades just above the crease. So like I said, when you're first starting out and putting on your transition shade, this works very well. The last brush is the Contour Shadow Brush, and that one says crease is the word. Really cute. And it looks like this. So kind of a smaller version of the other one that gets in the crease very nicely. It says pair with powder eyeshadows, again saying that it's the high-tech synthetic, and if you wash it, it retains the shape and bounces back. It says it perfectly fits in contours of eyelid to create defined shadow look. And it does do that. It works very nicely to get in there and work at your crease, and it blends very nicely as well. This one also retails for $26. So those are all of the brushes that I purchased that I thought I would need on a regular basis. And as you can see, it's a pretty hefty price in comparison to other brushes like Morphe brushes or e.l.f. brushes that are more affordable. This is more of an investment if you're a makeup artist or you do makeup a lot and you want them for yourself. One thing I will say is with all of the brushes that they do have, on top of the ones that I did not purchase, they were lacking a couple things in my opinion that I use on a regular basis when applying makeup. One of them was like this Y21 Morphe. It's the flat edge brush that really gets on the tight line and puts the dark shades on that I normally do, and then I can use a more fluffy brush to buff it out and make it less harsh. They did not have one like this. Although they do blend and work nicely, I feel like I still needed to go in with a blending brush that I already own. Once I did all of my makeup with those brushes, I used my Y17. I've used a couple different blending brushes that I have, but today it was the Y17 from Morphe, and really just went over and diffused the color. I just felt like the shadow blending one that they say to use for transition shades, I could not get that to really blend out my shadow, and they are quite different. This one is more of a thin dome shape. This one is shorter and a little thicker, but it is a regular blending brush, and I just feel like it works a lot better to blend it out. I had a lot of problems with this one. Even though the contour shadow one is for contour, I even tried to lightly use that to blend out, and that didn't really work. Now granted, I'm not a professional, so there may be people that are out there that could use it and don't have any issues, but I just found that I needed to use another blending brush to really get it nice and blended out. As I said with this one, I really enjoy this one. It is unique. I think that even though I use it for the contour above anything else, I think that it's really great for under the eye, just to kind of pat that powder in and set your under eye. It is just great. It's nice and soft and just works like a dream. These two brushes right here, I feel like you could get away with cheaper ones. They do work very nicely, but I don't think they're anything innovative, different, new, out of this world. So you could get away with cheaper ones. Like I said, if you could find one that is more of a rounded shape, even like a concealer brush to do your cut creases, that would work just fine. But this one did work well if you did want this one. The Smoky Shadow Brush, again, it works very nicely for under the eye to smoke out your lower lash line. I've had other brushes that are to smoke out your lower lash line and they work just as well. So if you did not want to spend the money on that, I would definitely recommend the cheaper one. The Precise Blush Brush, really nice addition to my brush set. I do have my e.l.f. blush brush that I used over and over and over again in a bunch of different videos. I really do enjoy that one and how it is a more domed shape and kind of lets me put it on and build it, so it's a more buildable brush, where this one is, as it says, precise. So if I want to just put it on the apples of my cheeks, you're in, you're out, you're done. It's great. I really like this one. As I said, They are all synthetic, cruelty-free brushes, and I think that Smashbox really is starting to think outside the box with different brush shapes in different scenarios. They do have a couple that I did not purchase, such as the multitasking detail brush for $24. That one is very interesting. I was going to purchase it, but I really don't have a purpose for it. The main description says that it's a liquid and cream concealer brush that has a targeted tip that pinpoints imperfections and dark spots. So if you had a zit or an age spot or anything that you really wanted to cover up, this would probably be a good brush, but I can't say for sure because I have not purchased it. They do have that though, and it is a very interesting shape. Another brush that I thought was interesting is the Sculpting Bouquet brush. It's $42 though, so that's kind of why I shied away from it a little bit. It's supposed to work really well for the contours of your face, and it says it pairs with powder complexion products, delivers full coverage, and hugs contours of your face. It does look like it would do a really good job with that, but it does have the smaller handle, so that would be something that you may need to get used to. But again, those are just a couple of the different types of brushes they have. They do have brushes that are a little more innovative and different that you may not have in your collection. Overall, they mainly have the basics of brushes that you'd need for your collection. Being new to using the Smashbox brushes, I think that they are really nice, and although some of them could be switched out for cheaper ones, I think that they're very nice brushes, especially for being synthetic. I was worried about purchasing more expensive brushes that weren't natural hair and having them perform the way that I had hoped they would, because I do have other brushes and I kind of wanted something that was a step up since they are more expensive. I feel like they are very nice. Again, I really wish that they had something like this Y17 or other blending brush that I use from Morphe that would really diffuse out the color, because I just felt like I couldn't get a nice blended look unless I added a brush like this in and used it at the end to kind of blend everything out. So that is it, guys. Hopefully you found this helpful. If you did, give it a thumbs up, comment, and subscribe to my channel if you aren't already. I put out videos normally on Monday and Wednesday. I know this week was only Wednesday and last week was only Wednesday. I've had a lot of things coming up, and I have a feeling that with holidays and stuff happening, I may not be doing it Monday, Wednesday, but we'll see. I'll try to do it. It's just kind of hectic right now. So until my next video, I'll see you guys next time.